everyone, this is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited magazine, and it's December 2022, and our December 2022 issue has Earl Scruggs on the cover, so this month is all about the banjo. And so I thought I'd continue with a few more banjo lessons, and in the Scruggs style, obviously. And so today I'm going to do one of my favorite tunes that Earl played called Little Darlin Pal of Mine. It's an old Carter style tune, and Earl did it as an instrumental, and it was also the melody that was used by Woody Guthrie for This Land Is Your Land. So if you're at a jam and somebody wants to sing that song, just pull out your break to Little Darlin Pal of Mine, and it fits really well. Okay, so first I'm going to go through like a standard version, which would be similar to what's in the Earl Scruggs book. I think the first place I learned this tune was from Earl's book. It probably won't be exactly like that. I learned it so many years ago and I can't remember exactly how it went, but I'm going to play it similar to that. If you want to learn a basic version, I just recommend you go to Earl's book. You probably already know this tune, and if you do, just as the basic version, take what you already know. And I'm going to throw some different variations in there. This week on the podcast, I talked with Jim Mills, great Scruggs style player, and we talked a little bit about how Earl would take a tune and then the next time through he would just change it ever so slightly, but it was just the right kind of twist in there to catch your attention as you were going along and listening to it. He didn't kind of try to reinvent the whole tune when he improvised. He just would change little things here and there. I'm going to change a bunch of stuff, and of course you don't have to change that much. Some of these little things I'm going to throw in there was some little licks that I learned out of a transcription of an Earl Scruggs live show that was put out in Banjo newsletter a long time ago, back in the 80s, by a fellow that called himself the Flint Hill Flash. Some of you may remember his column. He transcribed a version of Little Darlin Pal of Mine that Earl had played in a live show. And so some of the things, a couple of those little licks I'll throw into this, but again, it's going to be different. I'm going to throw some other stuff in there. But just like when we did Firebell Mail last week, I changed a bunch of it, and you can change a bunch of it if you want to, but it's cool just to change a little bit of it. I'm going to change more than a little bit just to give you ideas here, but just remember, as you're going through and improvising, you don't have to change it a lot. If you just change one lick here or there, and if it's a cool little lick that you change, that's going to bring that sort of interest, add that interest that the listener might hear. It's cool to go along with what they expect and then throw that little twist in there, and I think that's what Earl was a master of doing. So I'm going to play it just a standard way, and then I'll play a variation, and then we'll talk about what kind of things I threw in on the variation. Okay? Okay, so the first time through and the second time through, I started with the same little lead in. Okay? That's what I did the first time through. Quarter note on the C, and then just a forward roll. Okay? The second time through, I threw in another quarter note just to add some different timing. My licks pretty much the same. I might have changed it a little bit, but instead of going and then just continue with the forward roll, I went So I did 2 quarter notes in that first measure. Right? Now the second time through, the first time through with that second little phrase, I did just a slide and a forward roll. Now this is one of the things that was in the Earl Scruggs variation and I thought was awesome. So instead of going all forward roll 1/8 notes, Earl did this quarter note thing where he did, so it's quarter note slide, and the rest quarter note. So instead of going, it's that simply plays basically the same thing, but takes some of those notes out of the roll, and it just adds a cool factor. You know, that was what Earl did. Okay, so from there, first time through, I think I did that same thing both times. That double stop, both D's, taking that finger off to play a B, D double stop, okay? Then after that, I just did a forward roll using that, holding down that A note. Okay, so Earl, I think, added this F note, F sharp note here. He went, I think he went like that. I just did, you know, little bit different there. Now the second time through, I did, okay, and then I went on and went, so I changed up this, like, did those pinches, and then whereas in the first time I went, okay, similar to what Earl did, but not exactly. He did 2 pull-offs at the end. I did it a little bit different than Earl there. But then the second time through, when I did the different D lick, I did that pull-off from E to D on the high D string. That again is something that Earl did in that live show, which I thought was awesome. Okay, so that's where now. So the first time it was, second time, and then we go into the C. First time through I went, okay, first time through I went, throwing in that B flat note, okay, like that. And the second time through I just changed my roll up a little bit. I went, so instead of a forward roll I use an alternating roll. Again, that's a little bit of a variation, and the difference in sound is versus same note choices, just a little bit different roll. Again, that's really all you need to make a little bit of a variation there. And then after that, first time through, so after that C chord, I just basically went into a slew of kind of standard Scruggs style licks, you know. Second time through, I did, and then something like that. I more defined that D chord with the A note here and the F sharp note there. It's similar to, I think, what Earl did in his book at that part. The first time through I just threw some licks in. The second time through, this. That time a little better, a little cleaner that time. So that's it. That's all you have to do, really, is pull some ideas and change things up a little bit here and there. I did some different rolls. I added in some different notes. Again, this thing in the front part I got from Earl out of the live show, and this thing I got that also out of the live show from Earl. And if you were just to do your standard bit and then throw those two things in as the only difference, it would still add something to the song, create a cool variation, and people would notice that. So anyway, short lesson today. Again, just take the song, learn a basic version, and try to add some of those little differences, changing up your rolls, changing a little bit of the timing of things, and that's all you need to do to create a cool variation. So this is Dan Miller. Until next time, I'm here for Bluegrass Unlimited magazine, and we'll see you on the next video.